Hello and welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. My name is Mark Storrs, and joining me, as always, is
Rob Morphy.
Robert, thank you so much. And
Craps.
All right, so had this thought randomly. I did not have all these things written in my phone in notes. So how dare you?
I wouldn't have even suggested such a thing.
You. So as a child, when I first saw Star Wars,
okay,
I was thinking to myself, what scene or what scenes did I see that just fundamentally changed me on Star Wars, where I'm like, oh, shit, like this is it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like this is a scene where
because that was the seminal film movement of our generation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're based on.
Yeah,
we are literally based on Star Wars.
You know, I mean, obviously, there's, it's a Spielberg-Lucas 1-2 punch of Star Wars, but also Jaws, Close Encounters, and Raiders.
Yep.
But in terms of just a solid entity, Star Wars, first and foremost, molded Gen X like no other pop culture influence.
Oh, 100%.
At least in terms of cinema.
Yeah, and I mean, I was born in '80, so I caught the tail end of this.
Sure.
But
you still were influenced by the zeitgeist of it all.
Oh, yeah, I caught everything well after. But as a kid, watching the VHS,
sure.
I mean, I can remember specific scenes that jumped out to me where I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, this is... And the one
I didn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre until it was out on video. I missed that window.
And
so as did Chris. So the thing is, that doesn't belittle its significance.
We will
watching it on VHS.
We will keep this to just the original trilogy.
Well, it would make sense because we weren't young when the other films were made.
Yeah, because there's plenty of things in other like newer Star Wars movies, like for instance, like Rogue One, where I'm like, my God, I wanted to see Darth Vader mutilate people like that for so long,
forever, and here it is. Finally.
It was awesome, but we'll just stick to the original trilogy.
Okay.
So the one that I'm going to go with, and this is so passing, and it doesn't even really like hit a note really, like I guess with bigger audiences, but for me when I saw this I'm like, my God, what is going on? It's the scene in Empire when they're on the Star Destroyer and they pan over to the bounty hunters.
Of course. I think we're all going to say that.
Oh my God,
you might as
really?
well just stop it now.
Seriously?
Of course. Because that's where you see a rogues gallery.
Crazy, right.
Dude,
they're just crazy. Like, oh, there's a robot, there's a fucking
there's a Bosk, there's IG-88.
I can remember
Bandage Head.
Like Bosk's foot. You can see like his foot.
And
he's right, or his claw. And he's like right near the fucking dude's like head.
100%.
He's just like, we don't need their scum. Or like bounty hunters, we don't need their scum.
Yeah.
So how is it that we all were going to go for that? Really?
Because I can't speak for Chris.
It's the cool shit.
Because it is the coolest shit. Because it was. I mean, we've discussed this before, but it is the badass amongst the badasses. But the Empire, they're powerful and they're evil, but they're the bureaucratic badasses.
Right.
Here is the rogue element, the hardcore punk as fuck, giving zero shits post-apocalyptic element.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers, they got hired because they can do a job and they give zero fucks about like law and order. They're going to do it because you're paying them. And then you get to see this rogues gallery of some of the most bad, plus they're all the toys you want. At least me. I never wanted to collect all the heroes. I didn't give shit.
Not really, no.
I mean, you needed a couple just to like round out the stable, but I was a robot monster guy.
Same.
All the live long day. And so you got this cavalcade of like badass villains that are being assigned this job, by Darth Vader. And even if you were too young to understand the minutia of like chaotic neutral and, like whatever the like the stances these things would have, like how dark and dank it gets, you still understood that these were trash even by villain standards.
Yeah.
And they were badass.
We don't need their scum.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
But Vader thinks differently.
Yeah. All right. So we all picked the same scene.
I mean,
well, there's plenty. That's one of
one
many,
of a few.
Really,
I mean, I would say for me too, the cantina scene in the first Star Wars,
100%,
because that's the first time.
100%.
Oh,
they really drive home that it's. You saw Jawas and you saw robots.
Yeah, that's a really good call.
But that's the first where it's like a plethora of.
No, yeah,
people.
Luke's going there with Ben, and he's just like, dude, this is, you've never seen a bigger
vile
scummy villainy.
Yeah.
So you're ready, and you go in. It is a seedy.
It is.
Look, there's the wolf in the corner. You're fucking like
the wolf.
And it was
that weird
it was
thing that's like
funny,
a hammerhead.
Because there were hammerhead was great.
Hammerhead, yeah.
There was cool fucking monsters, and there were some of the most cheap jack motherfucking Halloween costumes. You're like, how the fuck did this make the cut?
Fucking
like Devil Guy.
Devil
I
guy's
love
kind of
the scene in the
I
corner
think he's a
there.
Devorian or Devorian, but yeah, he's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
But then you get Greedos, and Greedo was
Yeah.
one of my first.
Yeah,
that
Greedo
was
was
the
cool.
first action figure I ever owned, and I just loved him. I loved him because he was tough. I loved him because fucking, when he was starting to lean on Han killed him, and that proved what a badass Han was.
Yeah.
Like he was just so interesting looking too, because back then there was not a lot of context, and they went so far beyond like what Star Trek had was what they had based on a TV show's budget, and that meant people with like accoutrement and colors, and that
Right.
was it. You didn't, now obviously it's a spoil of riches, but back then you didn't get crazy with Star Trek, but that was the benchmark for sci-fi. And so, a decade later, it's Star Wars, it's 77. All of a sudden you see all this Rick Baker fucking crazy infused creatures, and there's Walrus Dude, and that's fascinating. But there's also just
Yep.
weird looking dude that's hanging out with Walrus Dude, that's fucking less
Dr.
impressive.
Yeah.
Evazan, I always mess his name up. It's Dr. Evazan, or the dude with the messed up face. Like,
Yeah.
I've got the death sentence on 3 systems. And,
Yeah, right.
And he's like, okay, yeah, stop. We'll be careful. My favorite part of that is when Ben just cuts the dude's arm off.
Oh, yeah, just
nonchalantly.
No, the whole set,
And
that
you're
whole
like,
cantina scene is
what?
just like,
Like no one at all
Right.
thought to be like. I mean, now that we are past, obviously we've been through the prequels and everything. No one's like, oh my God, the Jedi that were wiped off the face of the earth during Order 66. One just fucking reappeared in a cantina and cut someone's goddamn arm off.
I mean,
spectacular.
In terms of canon, that's pretty bizarre. But then you kind of assume probably a lot of lightsabers fell into the black market.
Well, that's probably what they.
and so you're
would
sure.
assume,
you're not assuming
but-
old guy is an actual
And
Jedi.
Also, this
Right.
was just this is pre-canon. There is no
It's true,
canon.
yeah.
This is movie one.
Yeah,
There was no.
yeah.
no context for
When,
Jedi.
Yeah.
when Darth Vader's first name was Darth.
Yeah.
Where he's
Yeah.
like, you're a master of evil, Darth, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, hold on.
No, it's I mean, it's there and it's always going to be there, and you can try to explain things all day long about.
Oh
why,
yeah,
like
no, I
why,
mean they
but
just
that's not
tie themselves into Star
But
Wars.
that-
and that's
Yeah.
over it,
That
but
introduction to some extraordinary creatures.
it was so cool.
Massively cool creatures like Greedo. And
Yeah.
the land speeder impressed me, and the Jawas impressed me, and the robots impressed me. It's like a desert landscape, and it's definitely reeking of Casablanca, though I wouldn't realize that until years later.
Right,
Because
for
I was
sure.
fucking 5 at the drive-ins when I'm fucking seeing it and barely remembering.
Yeah.
But at the time I was just like, oh fuck, it's on. This universe is chock full of crazy shit.
The other,
Yep.
the other kind of conversely, just like that scene, when you do get to see finally the inside of Jabba's palace,
yeah.
you're like, dude,
Yeah.
this is
Oh, that's great.
slick.
And well, I'm not here.
Like the
I'm
shit,
not here to hate on the re-edits as much as I want
the,
to. Or
yeah,
the prequels.
yes,
I
know,
will
it's
hate on the
tough.
re-edits for Jabba's palace because that singing motherfucking not the original one that was there that was all stilts and weird and lips,
dude.
but like that
Yeah.
fucking
No,
add-on
yeah.
CGI
the remake
bullshit.
one,
No,
yes.
yeah.
And by the way, that first one not spectacular.
The first one was fun though.
Max Rebo, brilliant,
Max Rebo's the
brilliant.
best.
Yeah.
And everything
Yeah.
that was going on the barge and the the like fucking throne room or whatever, amazing.
Yeah.
Until the CGI comes and just fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
just want to punch
The
everything.
part that always
That
got
didn't
me,
happen.
even
I
as
know
a
what you're
kid,
talking
I'm
about.
like, so if you're at Jabba's palace and you're a criminal and you're hanging out, like, you'll have a sleepover. Because everyone falls asleep in the throne room. Because everybody
that's the-
fucking
yeah.
Just falls asleep.
Yeah.
Like you don't leave
are you
because what you're
partying?
going to miss the party,
Are you
or
partying
because
so hard
if you're gone you might lose your spot,
that you just
or,
you just fucking zonk out? Like, are you
Yeah, no,
partying
that's
just
the
that
deal.
hard?
or is it the safest place to fall asleep because no one's going to dare fuck with you when
Or-
you're in his throne room?
Jabba, being the fucking master manipulator
Hey,
that he is, he's like,
I got a plan.
and he's like, we're gonna pretend to sleep, and then they're gonna fucking she's gonna show
No.
up in her
Well,
Bausch,
that is
in
the
her
other thing.
Bausch outfit.
No, that's just it's a weird like.
Because that was clearly a trap.
100%.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But I still feel like there's just an element of just hedonistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
agree.
Yeah, true.
I
True.
agree.
Yeah, but no, I that scene again along with the cantina scene. All right, so Chris, what do you got? Like, what's yours?
God, I don't know. There's a lot. I remember like the very first memory I have of Star Wars is at the Easton Drive-In
Yep,
'Cause
me too.
We had
That's where I
two,
saw it.
and the East
Nice.
End had the hits. The West End had
The trashy
B,
horror
schlocky stuff.
which I love even more.
And
nice.
I have just vivid but the first one I remember was when the Star Destroyer catches up with a ship and they blow it up, and you see that first Vader come through like the fog.
Yeah,
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm just like,
that is pretty.
But that was a
fucking
Weens.
yeah,
And
that was
Yeah.
that's the
incredible.
first memory. But like, I remember watching like Empire, and like the scene at the end when Luke's fighting Vader and he tells him he's his dad. But just that wasn't even. I was just like, oh, that's kind of weird. But the whole vibe of that movie was just very unlike Star Wars. So
Yeah.
everything that was
dope. Yeah.
happening. But then he gets his fucking arm chopped off. Then he's falling into the garbage, and I'm like,
Yeah,
he's floating upside down. And his friends are fucking. I'm like, what is happening?
Dude, when
Like, it was
he's
such a
hanging on to the
weird-
antenna, he's upside down
weird
and
thing.
he's like reaching out with the force for Leia to like come. You're just like,
yeah.
it's very convenient to be able to. It's one of those.
No,
Just,
yeah.
it's a weird scene. We're just like, wait, what?
I
Like,
remember
Well, just the
being
whole, I mean, you know when you see the main guy just get like their ass kicked
and just
heartily at the end
Oh,
of a
yeah,
movie, and then
dude.
he's all beat up. And
Yeah.
well, I was,
credits. I'm
I
like,
fully expected because I had only seen Star Wars up before
dude,
that.
Star Wars.
I fully expected that he's going to regroup, and now we're getting the third act.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was going to be like the prelude to the end of the movie. Like when they're like Han's gone and he's just sitting there with his like new fucking robo hand, and they're just looking out that window,
Yeah.
and it ends. I'm like, nope, no,
Yeah,
it did
yeah,
not.
that's
Yeah,
right.
dude.
No,
Just
it
down
didn't.
the caravan of
We got to at
ships.
least chase him down.
I'm like,
I was shocked
The
because
fuck you
in
did.
the first one, you get the rescue of the princess, and then you get the destruction of the Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So I thought there was good. All right, here's the second
in
climax.
part two,
Yeah, you
all
get-
you get
you
is
get
the fucking.
full-
You just get the
yeah.
betrayal of fucking Lando.
But going back
and
to
then
the
that's
first
it,
one,
man.
one of the pivotal scenes to me too in the original Star Wars was the garbage compactor scene.
oh, yeah, I love
That
scene.
just felt so
That was
intimate, and then that
so
creature
good.
that all you got to see was the stalk in the eye.
yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
my mind went into overdrive imagining what else was beneath there, like how big its body was or how small. Was it
Yeah.
undulating? Would it have a
Yeah.
big, like octopus
It
like
did always
mass?
bother though, because like they're standing in it, and it's not that deep.
No.
so
No.
I'm like, so it can't be that. My mind was rationalizing like,
Yeah, but it could be
must
flat.
be, yeah, like long and big.
Yeah, in my
fat, but
mind,
not,
it's like some giant, long, flat thing that's just kind of hanging out in
Yeah.
the trash compactor to like eat you.
That one really. I mean, it's the monster stuff.
It's a great scene. Oh, that,
That
dude,
kid
There's a reason they made a
100%.
toy
It's
of just the trash compactor.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a
With little
great.
foam
That's a
particles.
great goddamn scene. Son of a bitch.
yeah.
The other, okay, so we mentioned, I mean, obviously, again, Empire, I think is obviously the listeners understand here that Empire is clearly our favorite movie.
Well,
of
yeah.
all the Star Wars trilogies.
Despite the shocking ending.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, exactly. But the Battle of Hoth,
Yeah.
That's a
with-
solid space war movie.
Oh, it's great
dude,
because it opens up with it, and you're just
it
like,
opens up with
in.
Hoth, and you're like, what? And then when the walkers show up,
Oh,
it is-
yeah.
dude. As a kid, I'm like, I need those toys, and I remember kids having those toys, but
Yeah.
I didn't have those toys.
no.
I never had
Neither did
it.
I.
I mean, as an adult, I had so many of those walkers.
Sure.
I was buying.
Oh,
them.
you made up for it.
Oh, I more than made up for it with
Yeah.
my Star Wars vehicle collection at one point. I'm like, look at all the walkers I own. Would you like to look at them?
My childhood shame is no longer mine.
I have an army over there. Don't touch them though.
Yeah, yes, there's. I have a full recreation of the Battle of Hoth. Do not touch. Just stand away at a nice distance. But that walker scene definitely, like, it just looked, especially like
and along those lines, the Wampa.
oh, dude,
That
the Wampa.
yeah, that's
that
gross.
horned
Yeah,
Yeti. Like
dude.
long before there was a sheep squatch,
Oh, dude,
there was
100%,
this
yeah.
monstrous motherfucker.
Yeah.
That was actually genuinely frightening, as I
Yeah.
recall. When I was a kid, I'm like, I'm a little worried for Luke here.
Yeah,
Like, is he
100%,
going to get this shit together? Because I mean, I knew he wasn't going to die, but I'm like,
Yeah.
how the fuck are you gonna?
Yeah.
How the fuck are you gonna do this, bro?
The original cut where it's just the weirdest zoom of the
Yep.
lightsaber, like it's just so bad.
It's wonky the
And
way
you're
it
just
cuts.
like, okay, yeah, it cuts super weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a weird, but I still love that goddamn scene. And I mean, even I know that we mentioned Return to the Return of the Jedi with like the whole Jabba's palace scene. The other thing that I really got me was like when you first see like the Emperor's procession when the Emperor comes in, when you're
yeah.
like, this
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
fucking rules. Like
when you see the
he's just
Crimson
old
Guard or
and
whatever they're
shitty.
called,
Yeah,
Right.
those
man.
are the most bad. To me, those were the. It's funny because I'm a monster guy, but I wanted those figures. I'm like, there's stormtroopers, but then there's these guys protecting the
dude.
Emperor who are clearly
Right.
not intimidated by Vader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck are they?
Right.
Yeah,
You know
dude.
they have to be the secret dope shit
Yeah.
that you never
They
see.
gotta be.
But yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But you don't know anything about him. That was well, I later find out that's George Lucas's limitations. I thought
Well-
he was so subtle about Boba Fett. He was so subtle about like the Crimson Guard. Like, I know they're badass. I'm just gonna give you a little taste, and you're gonna ride with it. What I didn't realize until later is like he had no fucking idea that he created
no,
something
dude.
cool
No,
at
not at
all,
Not at all.
at all, and couldn't fathom it. And when he's like, making the later films, he's like, everyone wants Boba Fett, no one likes Jar Jar.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going
I thought
on?
it was fucking hilarious. Everyone was gonna love him.
That's the best guy. You guys both have amazing George
Yeah.
Lucas fucking.
I mean,
Dude, in my mind, he always sounds like Kermit or
Yeah.
fucking. He sounds like Patrick Mahomes in my head. He fucking sounds like that's how fucking he's. It's like, yeah, well, okay, here we go. I don't know why he doesn't clearly sound like that.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's true. Even
Yeah.
even something as stupid like his Bosk, like just
Yeah.
his outfit that was a throwaway from Doctor Who, I believe. It was just like the coolest little. Obviously, it was probably in the sound.
One of my
stage.
first favorite
They're
figures,
like, let's
Boss.
just grab it. I
in
mean, Christ,
IG-88.
that's
Yeah.
what Dengar. Speaking of mummies, throwback to our Patreon. Dengar just wrapped in shit with some
Yeah.
armor, and you're
Yeah.
like, he's got moccasins. Don't judge him for his footwear. He looks kind of fucking.
I mean,
sick.
Bosk had none.
Yeah,
He
Bosk-
just had a onesie.
yeah, he had the weird. The,
And it
the
looked
sh-
like an
that just
ex-fucking
looks-
wing pilot.
yeah, but it was an outfit from a Doctor Who episode,
Right
which is fucking super killer.
That's funny. Yeah, no, and
We're-
speaking of like Empire Strikes Back too, and we've talked about this before because we've broken down our love of Boba Fett for years and how we were way ahead of the curve on that, and now everybody's on that ship. But when they're walking in Cloud City, and fucking
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Boba Fett's like, he's no good to me dead, and he's like, and Vader's like, don't fucking worry about it, we'll hook you up. But he wasn't like condescending to him, like you'll get him how you get him and fucking suck it.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
Like Vader,
yeah.
he was like literally saying, Vader, like, I don't fucking, he's no good to me dead. I
Yeah.
need the money. He's like, don't, and he was like being deferential, but not being a puss. He was just being like,
He was just like-
you'll be fine.
He's
Don't
like,
worry.
yeah, don't worry. And he's like, look, Darth, you don't understand. All right, you fucked me once. Don't fuck
Yeah.
me again. All
and
right.
that to me made me realize just how incredibly cool Boba Fett was.
Oh yeah, dude. But now
Yeah.
we all know the coolness factor until, and then we're
The
this is-
Sarlacc?
yes, until the Sarlacc. The coolness factor.
it
'cause
went
he-
down hard.
Dude,
Because Lucas never understood what he had.
Exactly, but just the way that he went out and that. I mean, that scene alone to me for years pissed me off.
Of course.
Pissed
But
everyone off.
I knew from the extended universe that he did not stand that Sarlacc, and he eventually made his way out, which he did is now in canon. But for
Yeah.
years, there was this rumors like, how did Boba Fett? I remember going on Star Wars news groups
Oh my.
to look up what the theories were for how he got out, and then this everyone's extended universe that delved from that. Like, oh no, dude, he got in the Sarlacc, and the Mandalorian armor protected him, and then he was just able to, get out and do this, which he obviously did. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
No.
that scene pissed
And
me
it,
off
well,
so much.
it wasn't even just that he died. It was like it was a comedy.
He went out
scene.
like a bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
because he's
right?
like, huh?
It was a Han going. I can't see anything.
Yeah, and then I was-
it was fucking like
Ice blinded Han bumping
rocket
into him.
launch,
Yeah.
smash in the pit. And I'm like,
No.
Hibernation, sickness, and he's like, oh, and he's grabbing the mask of Leia. Someone that loves you. I
No,
fucking love
honestly, that
I'm,
was a
I'm
really
murdering all the lines, by the way.
that was
They're
a
not-
cool
They're
mask,
not correct.
and that was
Yeah,
a
it
cool
was.
character
Yeah.
until you found out it was Leia. Which is not to say Leia's not great, but it's like that alien I was enthralled by.
Oh, dude, I wanted
till
to-
literally the moment I realized it was disguise and not an alien.
I would
because the voice was awesome.
It
The
was-
mask was awesome.
pretty. Although I do kind of like that Leia was like, I'm fucking going undercover. Fuck this shit. Like,
Oh,
I'm getting,
sure.
She's like, I'm getting my fucking man back. That's pretty
What's
fucking
funny
ballsy.
is, and here's another thing that shows you like how much you're not thinking about. Like now, Andor and all these other shows are really exploring the minutia of rebellion.
oh
and
my
all sorts
god,
of
the
shit.
minutia.
But it's overwrought.
minutia.
Back then, like
It's so
literally,
much minutia.
everyone in charge was in charge of everything. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Luke destroyed the Death Star. He's one of the head guys. Leia's a general. She's one of the head guys. They're the ones you're going to send on that secret mission. Going, you don't have 1,000 underlings
yeah.
that would be better suited and
Yeah.
much more. I don't know. More available for sacrifice than you guys, who are essential to the maintaining the rebellion.
right.
But you guys are
Yeah.
just. It's like
Well,
because that's 80s movies
well,
logic.
that and it's
Yeah.
never been as ordered as like Star Trek. where
Never.
There's, you know what I mean? There's
Never,
because
ever.
They're a self-made.
Yeah, they got Purina badges.
Yeah.
Like they look like cat food fucking symbols on their fucking titties.
Right.
But they don't really have a
just
hierarchy.
Whoever agrees that you're a captain of a thing. Okay, well you're a captain.
Oh yeah, suddenly it's General Solo.
Yeah.
Why? Because because he saved Luke's ass and he destroyed the Death Star.
They're
That's all
part
it
of the
takes.
rebellion.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you're an
He
up and
came
coming
back.
guerrilla army,
There you go.
That doesn't take much to get
anyone
touched.
can be
I
a
get it. Yeah,
five-star
unit titles,
general.
but
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I love the end of Star Wars, the original movie too. The whole like Yavin like metal scene.
Oh
where
yeah,
they're all hanging out and like, oh yo, Luke's got some sick fucking threads on, dude. Like, what's up with this cool yellow jacket and your sweet pants?
No, it was pretty dope.
It was pretty fucking
See,
cool.
because that movie gave you all sorts of endings.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it was a movie that
all possibilities.
it almost
for sure.
like you were sure it was going to be over as soon as the Death Star blew up, and then or as soon as they rescued Leia. And then as soon as the Death Star blew up, then you even get the little award
the
ceremony.
aftermath.
You're like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Because you know what that is?
it's rare.
A classic denouement.
Yeah.
Very rare
And
that
that's
you
the
get.
way to
that.
do it. And it's rare.
It
Especially
is.
in 80s movies, it was
Yeah.
very rare.
Indeed.
And one last thing, too, that really hit me is when they were like trying to do the escape shit. And I'm this is gonna show my shitty pedigree. I'm pretty sure it's Empire Strikes Back, but where they end up in that fucking asteroid and they're inside the maw of that giant space worm.
In the worm, yeah.
No, 100%.
I love that bit.
With the Minox.
I don't remember
That was
names.
gross. The flying, the
yeah,
thing that sucked
yeah.
Oh, the
on
little bat things.
Yes.
Those things were really cool. And then how can we forget Dagobah? Like, to me, that
Yeah.
world,
Oh,
before
yeah,
you
for
understood
sure.
like the implications of Yoda and la la la, just that swamp world was amazing. And one of the first play sets I ever
The set
owned.
is great.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
Where
I-
you could lift the X-Wing fighter by a press of a button with
Yes.
force
That was
powers.
dope.
Oh god.
I don't really like Yoda though.
Yoda disappointed me in terms of being a badass Jedi. I know
don't
they
dislike him,
retrofitted him
but-
to be cool.
I came
in
to
the
terms with
prequels, and I
but-
certainly like,
It's the introduction that just pissed me off
Grogu.
immediately because he's just
but because he's so annoying.
that fucking cinnamon thing. I'm just like,
It's true. He came off like a dickwad
you
right
know
out the
what?
gate.
Fuck you, dude.
Exactly what he
I ain't
said.
giving you.
Where's your granola?
Right, right.
Like, God, get out of here, you little bastard. It was a cinnamon stick, dude. And all you see is his little fucking feet and his tiny butt. He's like
Right.
throwing shit out of a fucking sack. He's like, I'm here to find a Jedi Master Yoda. And he's like, oh, Yoda? Yes. And then
Yeah.
it goes. And we all know that he took 3 years to
The
die.
forever
The
destiny.
forever death. One more.
Right. Pause.
Ah,
But
there's
something else. Yeah.
another. You're like, God damn it. Well, here we
on
go.
and on. I mean, it was disappointing in that context. Like he got retrofitted to be more of a badass, but
Yeah.
they definitely played him like a clown.
He was just, like comic relief. Because, I mean, that's Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks and everything. It's all, I mean, the Ewoks show up and they're going to literally eat everybody. And you're like, oh, sick. Wait, they're Care Bears. Never
Yeah.
mind. And then,
I mean, I remember being blown away by the aesthetics of Ewoks.
It was
I
fucking
wish
dope.
to God they had done Wookiees, like was the original draft. But,
Kashyyyk.
I remember sitting in the theater as a young lad and being like, I know it's special effects. I'm not an idiot. I don't know how these can be special. Like now I look at it, it's like it's a fucking
yeah.
costume.
100%,
sure.
yeah.
But the early 80s kid was just like, I don't see how this
they're
is a costume.
Still well
Yeah.
done.
This is
costumes.
They found these things
Yeah.
off the some Indonesian island and they fucking put them in a movie.
Yeah.
Taught them
And
how
they're
to
just
act.
pretending little people are acting.
That's, yeah.
Because I saw the
There-
Warwick Davies fucking doc, and now I know it's a lie.
Yeah.
Because these are living creatures.
There you go, man.
I
Son
mean,
of a bitch.
Lots of good bits. Lots of good bits.
No,
Those
there
are
is.
some of the most pivotal.
We'll definitely have more Star Wars
I mean, how are we not?
conversations.
It's so formative to
It's
us.
pretty much
We,
what
we can find a way
are.
to broach like maybe the prequels. We'll find out what we're going to talk about them.
Right, yeah.
Maybe
well,
the saving graces of them for those who weren't big fans of that.
Yeah,
But we could figure that out.
yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of the thing with fandom is like everybody celebrates what they like, but then everybody fucking rips apart what they don't like.
Sure.
So, and we all have varying opinions about all.
Oh,
this,
absolutely.
All this stuff. But we
It's
still
funny-
manage to be goddamn fucking best friends forever. Okay,
Yes.
so there.
I mean, yeah.
We have.
Yeah, okay.
And that's a noble
I love
endeavor.
clones. I
do?
love the clone troopers, and Rob
Yeah.
and Chris don't. Well, you know what? We can still goddamn be friends about it and be
That's
civil to
fact.
each other online or off.
You look all troopers though.
I love troopers.
do.
Yeah.
I really do. God damn it, dude! I want a Sardaukar trooper figure so goddamn bad.
Do they make them?
No, I want it from the new Dune though,
Why not?
because I want the new Dune.
No, I know. Why don't
yeah.
they make them?
I don't know,
don't
man. I think McFarlane he had like the license for Dune. He made like 2 Harkonnens. I got Fade and fucking
Beast Raban.
Bean Raban.
Bean Raban.
Beast Raban.
Yeah, Boston Bean Raban.
Bean Raban.
Dude, I would love to see a whole series of Dune figures made out of beans. Bean Raban.
Oh, can you imagine?
Dude.
One's a kidney bean, a black bean, a white bean. Holy shit!
little Paul Bean.
I want them to
Paul
be.
Bean.
I want them to be plushies though, just like super cute plushie.
Oh yeah,
that would
dude.
be cute.
Paul in his still suit. All right, we're gonna talk about Dune later. Whatever.
Oh yeah,
All right, so there it
there's
is.
definitely Dunes coming up. But
Thank
yeah,
you so very much for checking out Cryptonaut Podcast, weekly podcast. Check us out,
We
Spotify,
are.
wherever you get podcasts, and right here on YouTube. Check all our videos
Yeah.
out. Subscribe, like, smash the button, leave the comments. We'll be talking to you soon.
Mhm.
Tell us what your favorite Star Wars scene is.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't mean it to be so aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry.
from the trilogy we're talking about.
From
Because we'll
the
address
OG.
the other ones.
Yeah,
We're,
we'll-
we're gonna
definitely.
get
At
to
some
Darth
point.
Maul and
Because
Jar
the
Jar. at some
prequels
point.
and sequels deserve their own confrontation.
We could
Yeah.
probably do every goddamn series if we wanted to.
We sure could.
We
if we
sure
wanted.
shit could. All right, cool. Talking to you. Peace.